Good morning, class. Welcome. I wanted to remind you, please, of your participation in online activities. This will be officially in the video. If you revise Educandos, Unit 3, you will see you don't have too many tasks, but it's just mainly revision. There is one task 7, which was completed in class. So we checked, we did the reading, the listening, vocabulary exercises. So everything was done in class. Please check the videos and check with classmates because you were doing in groups and you were going to exchange the results of exercises. So you can do that. Then you have this wiki, which was group participation. Okay, so I'm going to check that as well. And then we have a future tense exercises here, which are only questions. We did them in revision last Wednesday, orally again. So they're very simple. This is only revision in this day. We did lots of revision in reference to vocabulary, different kinds of vocabulary exercises. And workshop 10 is the one that contains different links with which you can participate. I mean, complete, with which you can work and complete on your own time. And also send some photos to check the completion of these practice tests. So you have different kinds of practice activities. And remember, the more you can do, the better for you for your final exam and for the OPT, which is coming in December. All right, then this week 11 is a short week. We continue revising future tense, be going to. We have a practice with be going to. We are going to revise some sentences from that. And what we do today, which is task 8, which includes a short listening, reading, and writing. Remember, we are preparing to do writing officially from next week onwards. And we will be revising the steps of writing. So I really need you, and that's an individual practice. So you will need to be responsible for your own practice in writing, receive feedback, so there is a whole process by which you get to your final writing products. So writing is a long process. You get ideas, you put them together, you have a draft, then you correct, you have a second draft, and then, so it's a process. And remember, writing will be one of our future, we will see on Monday, is one of our future evaluation items. So you're very much welcome to participate actively in getting feedback and rewrite and practice writing. Okay, so that in regards unit 3 so far, and I wish you all can be connected so we can work together and keep on practicing and making progress. There is no other way. And this is a common challenge for all of us. Okay, so we are finishing week 11. We are already past the midterm, and therefore we are required to pay attention to everything we haven't done, participation in online activities, as I showed you on Educandos, yes, and dedicate time of autonomous work. So some time extra to autonomous work to accomplish, yes, our goal. Okay, so now we have this warm-up activity. It's a word wall activity. I'm going to share the link. See, please, if you can access. I will show you the activity. Okay. So we're very few. So let me check. I will share in the chat. All right. Check if you can access WordWall. I'm going to share, I'm going to show you from my browser as well. And this is one of the activities, reading, writing, grammar is a mixture activity you have in the OPT. So you have an exercise like this. So it is interesting. You see, it can be on different topics, different levels of difficulty, of course. Remember, it is an adaptive test. That means that it adapts to the level of your proficiency, to proficiency level of different test takers. All right, so now you can see, can you see the, so this is what you need to access. Okay, Giselle, so we wait for you. Wait for you, we will continue practicing. Okay. All right, so can you all see the, Vanessa, Javiera, can you see, or can you access from your phones or computer? So read it, please, and then we can also do together and submit answers. So on different topics, you will have. Okay, Vanessa, great. Okay, we can check together. In a minute, okay. 1 minute. Okay, so now, okay, first word. Which is the first word? Javiera, can you write on the chat? What do you think? Okay, we have dictatorship. Yes, excellent. Dictatorship. All right, dictatorship is a form of in which one person or a small group possesses absolute. Okay, second word, Vanessa, your turn. You can do this, it's easy for you. It's a form of dictatorship. Government, excellent, Vanessa. It's a form of government in which one person or small group possesses absolute. Javiera, your turn. Power, excellent. Wonderful, girls. This is a piece of cake for you. This is absolutely easy for you. The term dictatorship, we need a verb from Latin, title, dictator. Comes, excellent, Vanessa. What a pleasure. Really wonderful, girls. Which is a dictator, which in the Roman Republic designated a temporary magistrate. We need a relative. So here is a relative clause. And so we have a relative pronoun. Was granted extraordinary powers in order to deal with state crisis, which is a relative pronoun. Designated a temporary magistrate. Javiera. Who, excellent, that's a relative pronoun, yes. So it starts a relative clause. Who was granted extraordinary powers in order to deal with state crisis. Modern dictators, however, resemble ancient tyrants rather than ancient dictators. Ancient philosophers' descriptions of the tyrannies of Greece and Sicily go far toward characterizing modern dictatorships. Okay. Okay, so dictatorship was a form of government in times of crisis. But modern dictatorships are more like tyrannies. So another way of describing extreme power, governments with extreme power. Dictators, yes, excellent. Dictators usually resort to force or fraud. And this is a near, so it's a word similar, very near to Spanish, yes. To force or fraud to gain despotic political power, which they maintain through the use of intimidation and the suppression of basic liberties. Hello, Catalina. You're just welcome to do a vocabulary vocabulary activity. So dictators usually resort to force or fraud. So this is very similar to Spanish, fraude. To gain despotic political power, which they maintain through the use of intimidation. What else do they use? Dictators. Intimidation. Something very similar to Spanish. A ver, Vanessa. Terror. Excellent, Vanessa. Terror. They use terror. Yes. You might have heard stories from dictatorship, yes, in your country. So dictators usually resort to force or fraud to gain despotic political power, which they maintain through the use of intimidation, terror, and the suppression of basic liberties. And we talked about this work. It has to do with citizens, with civilians, people that live in cities. And that means everything that is not military, let us say, yes, in society. Civil, yes, Vanessa. Okay, yes, wonderful. Vanessa is the only person woken up. Okay, so we need coffee, tea, come on. They may also employ techniques of, and we have two, mass propaganda or public. They may also employ techniques of in order to sustain their support. Okay. Mass propaganda, yes, mass propaganda. So propaganda is used in the world of politics. Yeah, so the other ones that we see, we in Spanish, we sometimes misuse the word, but propaganda in English is used for politics. Whereas the other ones, Falabella, Paris, that's advertisement, yes, not propaganda. Okay, so political propaganda in order to sustain their public support. Wonderful. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. So I was commenting, Catalina, that 10 out of 10. We took some time, but okay, so it's just class. But I was commenting, Catalina, that this type of exercises is one of the exercises in OPT on different topics, different levels of complexity, but you need to fulfill the, to fill in blanks in a text, yes? And those words can be nouns, adjectives, verbs, relative clauses, prepositions. So a variety of options. But that's an exercise in the OPT. All right, just for you to bear in mind. So we will be doing more of those. Remember, we will be doing another quiz online on Educandos with some questions resembling OPT questions. All right. Okay. Now, some questions for you. So the text was a short, very short. It is here, the text from Britannica, from Encyclopedia Britannica. And it is the beginning of a long article on dictatorship. Remember that we have been doing democracy, talking about democracy, and now talking about dictatorship, we see the other side of the coin. So dictatorship is one of the opposite types of government to democracy. So now that you have dictatorship, the whole brief description of what dictatorship is and the use of and the explanation of history, of world history. So dictatorship originated in Greece to mean a government elected in times of crisis. So a dictator was a person who was given power in a special moment in the life of the state cities in Greece. However, that came into different changes in meaning. And today dictatorship means a type of government that uses fraud, force, terror, and despotic political power, yes, to keep, and the suppression of civil liberties and freedom. So nowadays, dictatorship is more similar to tyranny, yes, than to what it was originally called dictatorship, which was only the concentration of power on a few people to solve problems in times of crisis. Okay, so now we have another idea of dictatorship. Is also the concentration of absolute power in few people, but also it implies strong consequences on the people, yes, on the people that live in that country. Nowadays we have countries. So think of this, yes, how would you conceptualize dictatorship in your own words? Yes, Catalina.
Hello, teacher.
Hello, Catalina.
I want to answer this question.
Perfect.
I think that I can conceptualize dictatorship using my own words of that way. Dictatorship is when a small group of people of country can all rights or all benefits that other people, that other social class didn't have. For example, I don't know, a better education because they have money, for example, and this one group of people that have benefit can control the country or the way of I don't know, to change their mind maybe. According to Chile.
Yeah. Well, there is a mixture in, and we did this, we worked with this word in a vocabulary exercise, I think 2 weeks ago. What Catalina is mentioning is a kind of oligarchy. I think you're talking about an oligarchy, and oligarchies can also be establish a dictatorship as a government. It can happen. Not only, but it can happen. So dictatorship is when a small group of people has a concentration of power to govern. Yes. plus what Catalina says, explains, it has another element that is a small group of people who have all the benefits in a society. That's an oligarchy. And that they can also exercise a dictatorship or impose a dictatorship as a type of government. Yes, Catalina, that can happen. Yes, exactly. But mainly is when a small group of people has a concentration of power in government. It can be a group of people, it can be only one person, one dictator. Yes, in government, sorry. Hello, Romina. In government. Okay. Hello, Romina, welcome, welcome. Are we all waking up? All right. Hi. Okay, yes. Have you experienced dictatorship? And in order not to ask a closed question, I tried to create an open question. What was your experience, or what has your experience been with a dictatorship? Any of you has had the experience of dictatorship? Okay, girls. In school, it's a type of government. Okay,
Teacher,
school.
yes, in my grade, maybe because group of people have some benefits, some academic benefits.
Benefit.
So this is the,
Okay.
isn't
Yes,
it?
and luckily, whenever there is a dictatorship in the form of government, then that influences school.
Ah,
Yes, school life. But you have lived in democracy. So if you think you were born, when were you born?
in Chile.
2000. When?
Ah,
Around
uh,
2001.
2001. Ah,
Yeah.
pero teacher.
Okay, okay, okay. There can be
Si
practices.
ay, pero si sale cast, ah, ya veo.
No, no, please. No, that cannot be possible. Yes, Chile has undergone a big crisis. So if you vote against such extreme thoughts, people with extreme thoughts, then this country has not, will not be better, probably. But what Catalina says is right. The country has undergone a long time of dictatorship from 1973 until 1986, I think. So it was a long time of dictatorship, and therefore many practices from dictatorship were imposed in institutions. I lived under a dictatorship while I was in elementary school. And I can tell you, my school there was also dictatorship within the school, because there was no other way out. Yes, the whole school, the whole country was under a dictatorship. My school was a state school, was a state school, a public school. And therefore, my school was also influenced by this absolute concentration of power in three people, these three people that govern the country. And they imposed that force and that type of government also within schools. And therefore, we had a very strict elementary school. We couldn't even breathe if the school principal was near. So imagine what was living in school under a dictatorship, under a real dictatorship. You didn't live in a dictatorship. You have lived all your life in a democracy. However, many schools might have kept practices from the times of the dictatorship. That I can believe. However, your life you didn't live any part of your life within a dictatorship. However, I understand Catalina and her visions about an oligarchy, because probably that's the reality of your country. There is a small section of society who seems to have all of the power, but also all of the rights and all of the benefits. But that is a different thing. However, you live in you live in a democracy, and you have the opportunity to vote your government, your governors. So this is a great power in your hands. And we have been talking all of these weeks about this power of representation, power of participation. And since you cannot exercise a direct democracy, you can choose your representatives. And that depends on you, on your vote. And you're voting in in 2 weeks. So there's really very little time, but you have to exercise that. That's your power. That is your power. So, and anyone in your families? Has anyone in the family experienced living in dictatorship? I think your parents, your grandparents. Any experience you have heard?
My family, my grandparents and parents live in that
Dictatorship.
and my grandfather, for part of my mom, they lived in the countryside, and because of that, the military people usually go there, went there to look for weapons and stuff. And my grandfather have to raid it. How can I say it? Enterrar, raid it?
Bury. Enterrar is bury.
And when they go out, I mean, they left, he have to put it back because to defend himself, to defend the family.
Yes, and the military went to the country to look for weapons.
And anyone to get like against the dictatorship and to check it, but they were like no se opusieron así como fueron ¿cómo decir? Que estuvieron tranquilos, no se alzaron por decir una manera, y entonces no se los llevaron.
They didn't rebel against the dictatorship. Yeah.
They were against, but they didn't show it because they knew that they never come back. So
Yes, exactly. So yes, that's what many people had to do, just fight in silence, because they could be persecuted by the dictatorship. Yes, so yes, it's a very strict type of, it's a very special kind of life. Memories can be terrible. My father also had to bury books at the backyard of our house. Yes, so imagine what it is to live with fear that people can see the books you have. Books, not weapons, books, imagine. It's terrible. So if you think of those stories, it's incredible. My mother and my father were great readers. My mother was a teacher of Spanish, so she had, my house was full of books of every kind of book, every topic, everything. So my house was full of books, and my father had to bury books that were against the political visions of dictatorship. Yeah. Good, Catalina. She wrote her. I'm going to, yes. So my family didn't oppose, but openly, yes. Yes, of course. You couldn't, yes. If you thought differently, you had to just conceal, bury your things, and do not show your thoughts. That's terrible. So there's no option to participate, to say your thoughts. Oppose the dictatorship openly. Dictatorship openly. That's the Vanessa story. Yes, the same. My father and my mother couldn't say their opinion openly, but of course they had their opposing views. Okay, Catalina says, in my family, my grandparents lived in a small house in high school, Valentin Leterier. That's a street. And when the military took the high school, my grandpa asked them of what political party they were. And according to the answers, they lie according to a political party so that they would not be thrown out of the house. Yes, you had to keep your political views concealed, ¿sí? Escondidos. Yes, exactly. You had to lie. And the schools, state school, public schools were very much influenced by the government. They persecuted the students as well. Not in elementary school. In my time, I was in elementary school, but I could feel the feeling, the pressure inside the school, and also how our teachers or the principals were changed because of their political views. That also happened to us. And the teacher that we loved a lot, she was the second principal, was changed in her position just because of her visions, her views. And Vanessa says, also I remember when my parents as children had to, yes, queue, that's a queue, to get food and flour, and they waited for hours in line. Yes, because dictatorship doesn't only bring this government of terror and persecution and lack of participation and lack of open opinion, but also hunger to the people, a change in economy, and how they run the country economically. And luckily, our country suffered also from economical point of view with the dictatorships. So that was very awful in our countries. Okay, so this is Catalina. My parents live in a small house on high school or in high school. The house was inside the school. And they, and when the military took the high school, yes, that happened. My grandpa was asked of what political party my grandparents. Yes, and according to the answers, they lied. Yes, they lied according to a political party so that they would not be thrown out of the house. Yes, exactly. Yes, and so on and so forth. Many people lied. In my university in Argentina, careers were closed, like psychology, for example, and people had to flee the country. So the same happened here. For sure, that's not the political system we want imposed in our lives. We would not like young people like you or your children coming, live in this type of government. Well, okay. Anyway, that's also another side of the coin, and dictatorships are even in place nowadays in the world, in many countries. And therefore, it is also good to bear in mind how important it is as citizens of free countries in the countries we live, how it is our responsibility to protect freedom and democracy. Yes, okay, Paola is here. All right, so changing the topic, we will come back to this topic for the reading and writing and a little bit of listening. But I need you to revise something that is the future, just in a brief revision of future, of the future tense, with another word wall activity. And that's really very, very easy. So this type of questions can also appear in the test. So bear in mind. So I was planning that our quiz will be similar to this. Okay, where's the one? Okay, this here. And so similar to these questions can appear in the quiz. The quiz we will do online, hopefully in 2 weeks, so that I have time to prepare and answer questions like this. The future tense, okay. Okay, so we have some people in parachute. The future tense with will, well, this is, I wanted to write with capital letters, is used to speak about future facts, right or wrong? Who raises a hand? Anyone? Future facts. Vanessa. Vanessa is right. Yes, future facts. Okay. The future tense with be going to, remember be is a form of the verb to be. Yes, it can be is, are. The future with be going to is used to speak about predictions for the future. Predictions for the future. It's going to rain.
Literally or like, because be going to is like something I will do like in 2 minutes, maybe, or
yes, it's a prediction. This is a prediction for the future. Yes, I predict that education in 2050 will be very technological.
yeah, but you didn't use going to.
Exactly. So which is the correct answer for this one?
Wrong.
Wrong. Be going to is not a prediction. Yeah, exactly. Now, pay attention. These kind of sentences you can have in the test. So you have a sentence and then an explanation of the meaning. Yes. Okay. The sentence, I am going to travel to Argentina for Christmas, means I think I will be in Argentina for Christmas. I have a plan to travel to Argentina for Christmas. Oh,
I believe it's B.
Vanessa says it's B. Romina says it's B. Okay, anyone gives another option? And the plane, this plane is going to. Okay, B, it's a plan. I have a plan. I have my schedule, my tickets. Excellent. The sentence, I will help you with your homework means I planned to help you with your homework. I have a plan. I have already organized my schedule, my agenda, or I just decided to help you with your homework.
B.
B, anyone else has another option? Okay, before the plane comes back. Okay, any other? Do you support B? Everyone supports B? Yes, that's a decision at the moment of speaking. Yes, something happens, I will help you. Oh, I do not know the future, I will help you, okay? Or the telephone is ringing, and the exact example is the telephone is ringing, I will answer. Someone knocks at the door, I will open the door. So it's a moment of decisions at the moment of speaking. The sentence, it is going to rain, expresses a conviction or a certainty or a future fact, un hecho del futuro. So it's a conviction, a certainty, or a future fact. Okay, who is jumping from the plane with a parachute? Come on. Javiera. Romina says A, not very convinced. It is going to rain. A, does anyone else have another opinion? Paola? Am I convinced? I'm sure of this. It is going.
I think A, because as
Yes, it is secure. Yes, I'm sure. Yes, it is going to rain because I am sure, I am convinced. I can see the clouds. So it's based on evidence. Yes, excellent. The sentence, education will be improved by technology, expresses a recent decision or a prediction for the future. This is easy. Well, with this one, you have to be B. Yes, Vanessa. B. This is a prediction. Yes, a prediction for the future. Education in 2050 will be improved by technology. A prediction for the future. Excellent. So we're great with the future. There are some other. So we're great with the future. This should be, but those kind of exercises do not only imply having the right verb form, but also knowing the meaning. The meaning and also in some cases the pragmatics. So these are when to use. Pragmatics means when to use the expression. So this is what we are going to be practicing this last month, just to be sure, to make sure you understand the exercises of the OPT. So the OPT will ask you these two. So accuracy in grammar, so the right verb tense, but also the meaning and the appropriacy in the moment of using that expression. That's pragmatics. Okay, so for you to bear in mind, it's not only knowing the correct verb tense, but also why. Why do I use this verb tense? What do I mean? Why do I choose this and not another one? Yes, you have to be mindful of that as future teachers as well. Well, okay, our plane is going to continue flying apparently. Okay, so we have to stop it somehow. Okay, so no more planes flying. All right, we will have a brief break, bring something to drink, some coffee, something to eat if you have just woken up. And you will be thinking of this. This is in the worksheet uploaded on Wednesday. Yes. So what are you going to be like in the year 2050? So you're going to be alive. I am not sure. I do not know whether I will be alive, but you will be alive and you need to answer the question. So Catalina will be my age, more or less. So imagine Miss Catalina in 2050, okay? So what are you going to be doing, Catalina? Are you going to be teaching children, adults? So what are your future plans? How old will you be in 2050? What are you going to look like? Yes, are you going to be taller? I don't know, fatter, thinner, younger, older?
Con una operación de liposucción. Ah, no.
Yes, more beautiful. Where are you going to live? Probably Catalina is going to live in Santiago, working at the
No,
Chile.
I don't like Santiago.
What job are you going to have? Teaching children, adults, who knows? Where are you going to work? Are you going to have a family? If so, how many children are you going to have by 2050? Good question. So imagine Paola, your child. Paola will be an adult. Oh, imagine 2050, Paola's son will, Paola could be a grandmother. Santiago is dangerous. Yes, probably dangerous. Yes. Okay, so think, Paola, think of your future. 2050, Paola's son is going to be around 30 years old. So imagine, Paola's son is going to be a, I don't know, a representative at the company. Okay, so think of that future. What else can you tell us about the future you? The future you. So are you going to be a university professor, an elementary school teacher, the principal? Yes. Or are you going to be a ministry of education? Who knows? Okay, so one sentence each will be good. So think of that future you. And we will come back in 10 minutes, prepare some tea and coffee. Is that okay? People, are you all right? All right.
Yes, I will prepare my breakfast.
Yes, breakfast, please. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Okay, see you in 10 minutes. All right. So Catalina says, I will be 50 years old, but check the question, Catalina. That's a prediction, and we are not predicting here because you're sure. You're sure because you're sure of your age in 2050. So that is more than a prediction. So you're sure. So how are you going to answer? Okay, so Catalina, think again. How old are you going to be? Are you going to be in 2050? How old? So the same age, but different verb phrase. Okay. How old are you going to be in 2050? I am.
No. I will
But
be.
check that will is a prediction. And this is something you're sure, you're certain.
O sea, tendría que ser I am.
I am yes, you have in the question.
I am going to
Be. This is the main verb. Yes. Be is the main verb. I am going to be
49.
49 years old. Yes, years old. 49, 50 years old. Yes, because you were born in 2001. Okay, 49 years old. Oh my gosh. Oh yes, I wish I could see you. I could see you all. 2050. That'd be great. See what you're doing, how much you have progressed. Oh, impressive. All right. What are you going to look like? Okay, anyone would like to help with that answer? What are you going to look like? We can be creative. Doesn't matter. Anyone? We can do a common answer in the chat as well. Okay, Giselle is here. Vanessa says something, but I can't see you girls. Wait a minute. Okay. Hello, Giselle. We are revising the future. I am going to look old and tired. Yes, in the prediction. Exactly, Romina. Yes, the prediction is something I predict, but I'm not sure. But my age, I am sure. With my looks, we never know. That's true. But Vanessa says I'm going to look old and tired. No, Vanessa, old? No, never old. Never. There are so many advances in medicine that you can look young for a long time. So no, medicine is getting ahead. And so I'm going to look old and tired. No, never tired. Never tired. You're going to be energetic. This is the main verb. The ones in blue are the main verbs in the sentence. So the meaning is that the meaning of the verb, the meaning of the sentence. No, Vanessa, you're going to look young and energetic. The opposite. Okay, Romina, I will be 50 years old in 2050. Yes, wonderful, Romina. I'm going to be 49, Vanessa. Yes. Catalina is going to be 49. I'm going to look, oh, Catalina, I don't know. I'm going to look nice. Yes, nice, young and energetic. Yes, what is sage? Catalina, that's a very good question. You're going to look
Como sabia, o sea, con más experiencia.
Wise.
Wise.
Yes, you look wise. Yeah, okay. You look wise. Oh, it's a new looks. Yeah, wise. Yeah, wise. But yes, okay. Like a wise person. Yes. Where are you going to live imagine if someone had asked me when I was 21, what would I have said? I had no idea. But anyway, think you have your life planned. I could have never thought I was going to be here with you girls, never in a million years.
I
But-
am going to live in a countryside maybe, but without the farm animals.
Ah, okay.
No,
You're
no con
going-
vacas, es que no me veo, siento que no los cuidaría. But a ver, espérame. I am going to live in a countryside, or maybe if my expectative are high,
Mhm.
in a countryside from Switzerland, for example.
Oh, in another country. Okay, Switzerland, farm animals. Oh, yes, yes. Here where Professora Marianela lives in Rari, looks like Switzerland a lot. Yes, you don't have to go to Switzerland. You have it
Really?
here, some kilometers away. Yes. Yes.
Ah, qué lindo.
This is,
But to know other cultures, maybe.
yes, yes, I'm going to live in the countryside. I'm going to live in another country. Yes, yeah, yes. You never know. Some lives are unpredictable. You never know, but you might plan. I'm going to live in another country. If you have already planned in another country, probably you go to do your practicum in the US and you stay there. You never know. Hopefully you have the possibility to get to know at the least. What job are you going to have? Romina, Paola, what job? Javiera? Is it going to be with teaching, with administration, in the Ministry of Education? You have politics. You can. What do you plan? What are your plans? Or are you going to be just keep on being teachers? Okay, I'm going to work as a teacher or in a library, Catalina says. Oh, in a library, that's interesting. However, you have to study a new career. Yes, Catalina, like a librarian career. And in order to be hired at Utalca, for example, you need to have this career, okay, which is specialized in library management. Yes. Okay, so it's a special kind of work and study. Yes, I'm going to work as a teacher or in a library. Yes, in general, teaching is like a lifelong, it's a way of life. Yes, it's like teaching never lets you go altogether. Okay, but you can work in administration, you can work in the ministry with the standards, imagine. So they hire teachers as well. I'm going to work as a teacher, Romina says, okay. You can be also a professor, like Professora Marianela. She was an elementary school teacher and now she's a university professor. That's also a possibility. Yes, you have libraries, you have many other works you can do. You can work, as I said, with the standards. Yes, school principal. Yes, I'm going to be school principal. Yes, yes, exactly. Many of my secondary school classmates are teachers originally, but now they are administrators, they are school principals, inspectors, kind of como una inspectora, is a kind of overviewer from the government. So they have started as teachers, and now after so many years that we finished the career of teachers, they are school principals. Yes, I am going to be a school principal. Yes, exactly. School to be, yes. Some of them work at the Ministry of Education. Yeah, so you have other possibilities of job. Yes, are you going to have a family? If so, how many children? How many children? Any ideas? the school principal or headmistress.
Ahora uno no piensa en tener hijos, pero yo creo que a los 49, bueno, si uno quiere,
No, Vanessa is not going to.
puede ser, mamá, yo creo que tendría uno o una. Me gustaría adoptar en realidad, pero no sé cómo decir todo eso en inglés.
I am going to have one child. Yeah,
Yes, one or two, one.
one. Okay, one child. To have one child. Yes, probably you already have this planned. Paola, for example, she has already one child. You can plan to have another one. No, just the one child. What else can you tell us about the future you? Something original. What do you think? You can tell us about the future you. Something you're sure you're planning to do already. I am going to. Something you have been planning to do, Vanessa, when you finish or probably before, well, or when you finish your career, before you finish? Yes, yes, of course. But probably I'm going to achieve everything that I have ever, yes, I'm going to achieve. You have some plans. So for example, Vanessa and Catalina told me about some plans for the future that they wanted to accomplish. And that was traveling, wasn't it, girls? Yes, travel. Yes, exactly. So that's a plan. Yes, I'm going to achieve everything, says Vanessa. Well, hopefully, yes. My wish for you is that you do. But you can also plan that before, whenever you get your graduation, I am going to travel abroad to teach. Yes, that was a plan that Vanessa and Catalina were telling me about some months ago. So this is also important too. That's also as plans for the future. Yes, you're planning from now. So they're getting information about it, knowing about the application system and so on and so forth. And in the year 2050, yes, probably you can also travel and teach abroad. That's never closed, that possibility. Okay, yes, you can achieve everything. That's for sure. I would like to see you achieving everything. Yes, that would be great, a great feeling of accomplishment. Yes, to see you getting everything you like and doing what you love doing. That would be great to see you. Okay, so going back to the unit. Yes, so now we will produce oral and written discourse. Now we have produced a lot of oral discourse. Now it's time to start with the written discourse practice. And little by little today, probably, and the task that is the product of today's work will be pre-writing task. And we will start with the steps of writing next Monday. Okay, so I invite you all to class on Monday so that we see the steps of the writing process. All right, so understanding anti-democratic systems, and we talked a little bit with the warm-up activity about dictatorship. So what do you know about anti-democratic systems of government? We already discussed a little bit of anti-democratic. So in anti-democratic systems, we have monarchies. There are, well, nowadays, monarchies have modernized a lot. We have oligarchies in power, the one that Katarina was mentioning. We have dictatorships, probably only represented by one dictator. Some countries in Africa are dictatorships to this moment. So there are different systems of government that are not democratic nowadays in the world. Yes. All right. So What is an anti-democratic system? Which characteristics have we talked about that we can now again brainstorm? What have we seen in the dictatorship, in the description of dictatorship that we saw at the beginning of the class?
System without
Mhm.
benefits to all people.
What is it? Sorry, a system?
Without a system without
Mhm.
benefits.
Mhm.
No, a ver, aquí estoy pensando.
Yeah, benefits, yeah, for the people.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What else? Yes, benefits for the majority of the people. Yes? There is always some people who have some more benefits, all the benefits, yes, for the majority of the people. Yes. Any other characteristic of an anti-democratic system? The opposite to democracy? We have seen a lot. Any other? You can write on the chat, in the chat. What did we say? What did we say about election, political parties, civil rights?
Civil rights don't matter when.
Yes, are not in place. Yes, civil rights are not respected. Yes, human rights, civil rights are not respected. Yes, in a dictatorship. Yes, are not respected. Yes, are not in place, do not matter. Yes, exactly. What else do we see in a dictatorship? What do they do? They use, what do dictators use? Here we have
The terror.
terror, yes, pressure, persecution. Exactly. So all of those words that come from Latin are cognates, true cognates, and therefore they are similar to our language, yes? So anti-democratic system uses terror, what else it was, a persecution, intimidation, also all of them similar to Spanish. Intimidation. Yes. What else do we know from about an anti-democratic system?
Corruption.
Corruption, excellent. We saw corruption some weeks ago. Yes, yes, of course. They govern with absolute power, so they are embedded with corruption. Yes, and there is corruption because there is overuse of power. Yes, exactly. Corruption and overuse of power, extreme use of power, of absolute power. Yes, and of course we know that if there are no regulations to power, then power also is corrupted. Yes. Okay, excellent, girls. Excellent. Corruption, excellent. We haven't seen today, but we saw it 2 weeks ago, around 2 weeks ago. Excellent. So now I'm going to share with you the task 8, understanding anti-democratic systems. And we have an exercise with a matching exercise with words, yes? So some of these you already know. Some of these, what is a dictatorship, a dictator, what is civil, what is propaganda. So propaganda is used to publicize the political activities of governments. So propaganda is political, yes, not commercial in English. ¿Sí? La palabra propaganda no se usa para comercial, Si no se usa para política. Okay, I am sharing with you the Word document with which you're going to work for this exercise. So I need you to read and find the matching. Okay, so we can divide. Tell me if you can download it. If not, I need to send it via WhatsApp web. WhatsApp web, yes. I was thinking of the name. Okay, girls? Okay. So you will have two groups to work, yes, and analyze the words, the meaning of the words. Okay, tell me, could you open the document?
Yes, I could.
All right, so Vanessa, you're going to work with Paola and Romina and Catalina and Giselle. Okay, could you open the document? Girls?
Vane, ¿puedes enviármelo por WhatsApp? Porque estoy del celular y no me llegan los documentos.
Okay,
¿Por
okay.
qué?
We can share with you. Okay. Okay, girls, so I will see you vocabulary analysis. So some words are from the exercise that is coming, some words from the past, vocabulary from the beginning of the class. Who would like to share? Vanessa, you have the document, the Word document?
Yes, we do.
All right. Okay, can you share so we see the words?
Wait a minute.
We'll analyze them.
There.
Mhm.
There.
Do you have any doubts? Okay. Dictatorship is the government or a country in which total power is held by a dictator or a small group. Yes, that's a dictatorship. A dictator is a person who rules a country with total authority and often in a cruel or brutal way. Yes, exactly. A defector is a person who has abandoned the country, people who escape their country because of political reasons in favor of an opposing. Yes, people from Venezuela are defectors. They oppose the government, so they leave the country. Flee is a verb, and you have the past and the past participle. Yes, flee, fled, fled. Is another. What does the action mean? To flee is to. There is a word coming from Latin. What is to flee? Oh, run away? Is that one? Yes, to run away, to escape. Yes, escape. Escape. Yes, Catalina, exactly. Run away from a place. Yes. Flee, escape. Yeah, escape is the Latin, the verb with Latin origin. Yeah, that's nearer to our verb escapar. Memoir, what is a memoir? A
Memoria.
memoria, but when you write, yes, it's a historical account or biography written from from personal knowledge. Yes? When people write their own experiences, yes, they write memoirs. Memoria, pero en el sentido...
Memoria.
Claro, memoria, pero en el sentido de producto escrito, no la memoria de memory. Yes? La memoria es memory, pero memoir es el género literario. ¿Sí? Cuando se escribe un género literario, este es un género literario para expresar un hecho histórico desde un punto de vista personal. Okay. Tyranny is what is tyranny? An oppressive, a cruel and oppressive government or rule. Yes, and we made a comparison about dictatorship and tyranny. Yes. Despotic is an adjective, and despotic means having unlimited power over other people and often using it unfairly and cruelly. Yes. So being despotic is being cruel to others, exercising an excess of power. Yes. Civil, another adjective to mean Ordinary citizens, yes, everything related to citizens and their concerns as distinct from military or ecclesiastical. Yes, so we have in the society, we have the civil people, yes, the ecclesiastic, the church, people belonging to the church and people belonging to the military. Yeah, exactly. And propaganda, we said, is related to politics, not to commercial, not to business. So it's information, especially of a biased or misleading nature used to promote a political cause or a point of view. So you use political propaganda. And it has to do with, yes, it's biased. Yes, it's biased in the sense that it is an agreement with the ideological position of a political party. Yes. So in that sense, it's biased. Es como se dice en español, tiene un sesgo. La propaganda política tiene un sesgo según la posición ideológica de un partido político o de otro. That's why it is not impartial. Yes, so it has a specific meaning. All right. So now, if we go back to the task, you have the complete task. It's not too long. Now we will watch a video. I beg you to pay a lot of attention. The speaker is not a speaker of English, a native language. Therefore, you have to pay a lot of attention. And there is also a written version. So there's subtitles. All right. So you're going to watch a video now. So it's easy. There are subtitles. And we're going to see Hyun-soo Lee. Yes, so you're going to answer, who is Hyun-soo Lee? What does she tell us about normal political conduct in North Korea, her country? What were her thoughts in relationship to the government and leaders in her country? So she's going to talk about her country, okay? What does she tell us about punishment for opponents in North Korea? And 5, how can you compare your life at 17 years old in your country and Hyun-soo Lee's life at 17 in North Korea? And here is where we start exercising our pre-writing skills, yes? So you're going to write a reflexive paragraph. At the least we have to finish that today. There is another writing, but if we can finish with this and present, that will be okay. Containing 6 complete sentences about your experiences living in a democratic country in comparison to Hyun-soo Lee's life living in a dictatorship. Include discourse markers and coordinating conjunctions. Remember the discourse markers were, for example, in addition, what other discourse markers? So what they were to explain example, to explain something else, to add something, to say the opposite, on the contrary. Yes, those are discourse markers. And coordinating conjunctions were the fanboys, remember? We saw them at the beginning of the semester, the fanboys. And they coordinate sentences, yes? The coordinating conjunctions are for, and, nor, but, or. So the fanboys, yes? Each letter is of this acronym is one preposition. It's one conjunction. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So those are the coordinating conjunctions. Sorry. Coordinating conjunctions. So you know them and you use them. Yes, you use them. So it's just a reminder. Yes, just a reminder for you to practice everything we have learned and have them fresh in our memory. So that's memory, no memoir. Memoir is a literary genre, ¿sí? Un discurso literario. Okay. All right, so discourse markers. Discourse markers, you know this. For example, in addition, moreover, in conclusion, on the contrary, however, therefore, you know all of them. Coordinating conjunctions are for, and, nor, but, yet, so, to organize written discourse. All right, so now we're going to listen to Hyunse Lee. And she's a defector, a person who escaped, fled. She fled. She escaped her country, and therefore she's a defector. I am going to check in my browser because we have Hyunse list there ready.
The girl with
Okay, wait a minute.
Bows have ears and the
Wait a minute. All right. I need to share from my browser. Okay, pay attention. We have subtitles. Okay.
the words have ears and the fears have eyes. My name is Hyunse Lee. I'm North Korean defector, and I grew up inside North Korea, and I left the country when I was 17, and I wrote my memoir called The Girl with 7 Names. Everything we grew up in North Korea was normal. I thought just praising the leaders as God, public executions. We grew up with those public executions. We thought this is a very normal things to do as a human being. I thought every country have that system, and then the constant public executions were a constant reminder that I shouldn't do anything to disobey our government and the leaders. In North Korea, we can't say the leader's name by itself. We have to put something, the titles, in front of the name. Otherwise, we can be sent to political prison camp. As North Koreans, we know that we have to be careful what we are saying. By saying wrong things, can be sent to prison camp. And then not only you, but entire family will be disappeared in the middle of the night. It's a very common knowledge inside North Korea. We don't know what happened inside, but once somebody is sent inside there, can't get out of the camp and until they die. My mom told me many times that when you are outside, you have to be careful what you are saying and don't repeat the words what you hear at home. This is North Korea exactly. It's right now I feel like we lived in a just prison. It's like a virtual prison we live inside the country, and still we didn't know we were suffering.
Okay. So you have it. You have the link also in the. You have the link in your tasks. Yes, as Hyunse Lee is a tough life she had when she was 17, until she was 17. Imagine an adolescent. Yes, and so how can we explain in short, in brief? Remember, you have this in your tasks. Yes, but I am interested that you write these sentences about your life. Your life at 17 in comparison to Hyunse Lee's life. Yes, so we will concentrate on 5 for you to write and share. So we do this together. Who is Hyunse Lee? She says at the beginning.
She's a deserter from North Korea, and she was called the girl of 7 names.
Yes, she's a defector of North Korea. So she is the person who escaped North Korea. Yes, and she was known as the girl with 7 names. Imagine. Yes, imagine that. So there are many stories of people who, young people, many women who suffer a lot also in escaping the country. It's not easy to be a defector. And if caught, in many occasions, they are sent back to prison in Korea, North Korea, yes. So it's a difficult situation. What does she tell us about normal political conduct in North Korea? What did she think was normal? But then she discovered it was not normal. What practices were there?
Public execution.
Yes, public executions. Imagine public executions. Public executions were a normal practice, and she thought every country had public executions in the world. Were a normal practice. Imagine that in North Korea. Yes. Wonderful. Yes, so that was also many other practices, like, for example, never speaking, never saying their opinion. So we already spoke about that, yes, when your grandparents, your parents in Chile couldn't say their political opinion, yes. Well, the same here, the same in North Korea. You cannot say your opinion, you cannot give an opinion against the government, yes, moreover. So imagine, and that's also up to today. Yeah. What were her thoughts in relationship to the government and leaders in the country? What did she think was normal to do with leaders in every country? What did they do or what do they do in North Korea that she thought was normal? How do they treat their government, the people in government?
They have to say something before the name or something like that.
Yes, of course, they have to say the title. Yes, and what else do they do with these people? What is their conduct?
Control?
Yes, they control, the government controls everything. Yes, everything, that's for sure. So they need to, but what do people do in relationship to the government or the people in government? What were her thoughts in relationship to the government and leaders in her country? They are called by their titles. By their titles. So imagine the president in your country can be called anything. Well, that's not possible in North Korea. You go to a political prison camp. So imagine, that is not possible. In my country, they also give lots of nicknames to the president. That's not possible in North Korea at all. They are called by their titles. And what do people do? There is a section, we can listen to that again or read, in which she says people in the government are praised as gods. What is to be praised as gods? What is to be praised as gods? Son alabados como dioses. All right. What does she tell us about punishment for opponents? How are opponents punished in North Korea? ¿Cómo es el castigo para los opositores? What does she say? What happens to you if you...
They took it until the police camp, and
The political...
they don't get out of there until they are dead.
Dead, yes. So opponents are taken to the political prison camp. Prison camp, and they stay there until they die. Oh, so imagine that. Stay there until they die, and the complete family as well. So it's not a person, but a family. So now your task with your classmates will be, so each one you can put something together, but we need to practice this. This is going to be independent practice, individual practice. So cada una va a subir su tarea con su escritura para que yo pueda darle feedback. Pero ahora estamos practicando para que veamos que todos entendimos cómo hacer este párrafo. Son 6 oraciones separadas por puntos. ¿Ok? No es una sola oración, 5 o 6 de 6 líneas. No, son 6 oraciones, complete sentences. Yes, con 6 complete sentences. Y van a agregar los discourse markers y los conjunctions. ¿Ok? Entonces, ahora lo hacemos juntos con los compañeros. Tenemos luego la discusión, vemos cómo es la idea, para que luego lo hagan solo cada uno su escritura, su párrafo en su tarea. Yes, is that clear? So we do together now, and then you will do individually. But for now, to have an idea on how to write this paragraph. Okay, so we will divide in groups. You will have how many minutes? 10 minutes, so we can discuss later. So do you all have the, okay, I will divide you again and we will meet, ¿sí? Nos dividimos. Escriben el párrafo de la vida de ustedes a los 17 años, la vida de Hyunse Lee. All right? What could you do? What she could do? What she couldn't do? What you could do at 17? What are your benefits? As Catalina says, which were the benefits of Hyunse Lee in her country, or the punishment in your country or punishment in Hyunse Lee? You see different aspects that you can discuss in your paragraph, yes? All right, so you will have 10 minutes and you do in discussion with your classmates, okay? And then we share. So we go to the groups. Okay. Please share.
No terminamos las 6 oraciones, llegamos con la tercera.
Okay. But let us check. You got right. Keep on writing, okay? It's just to give feedback.
Espérame. We have, we, no, espera, es que quiero editar una parte.
Yeah.
Si nosotros lo vemos, we shock. Ahí vamos a dejarlo, ya. Ya, voy a leer primero la parte naranja y allí se va a leer la azul y
Esa es la primera oración. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. First sentence. All right.
First, our life at 17 years old is easier than life at 17 in North Korea because we can express our thinking, opinion, and ideas without have afraid. Conversely, the girl never could say that they want or that they wish.
Okay, it's clear. The meaning is clear. However, I think you have more than one sentence. Okay, but that would be my suggestion. Think if you can divide in two
¿En
sentences.
serio? Es que como hicimos un contraste, por eso lo dejamos así.
Yes.
Bueno, hay que tener 4.
Conversely can be another sentence. Conversely, yeah, Lee Hyunse Lee could never say what she wanted or wish. Also check the verb tenses. If you're going to write in the past or in the present.
¿Cuál?
Everything in general, yes. Later you check the verb tenses. Okay, second sentence.
Dale, Giselle.
Wonderful. Also?
Me toca a mí ya. Also, we call work style to street with, no me acuerdo.
Without
the thinking of police can catch up. No, catch up. But in the least case, they couldn't be in calm.
Yeah.
In addition, the practice of execute people are normal.
People execution. Sería execution es el sustantivo, yes? The practice of people execution
are normal to this age. However, if we see the scene
will is a future, is a will shock us. Yes, exactly. Imagine if you see a public execution in the Linares square. Imagine, that can be terrible, yes? All right, excellent. So you get good, you have good ideas, you got the idea, only check the verb tenses. If you're going to write everything in the present or everything in the past, and you got the idea of the sentences. Yes, in addition, that's another. So conversely is another sentence. Can you see?
Ujú.
Yeah.
Y aquí también sería otra oración, ¿o no?
No, because
Ah.
that is a coordinating conjunction, so you can join two sentences
Ujú.
without a full stop. Yeah, so conversely, in addition, those can add a new sentence. Yes.
Igual tengo una duda, sí.
Uh-huh.
En el caso de, es que no me acuerdo de la oración, no sé si eran los condicionales y todo, pero cuando iba, si nosotros hacemos esto, pasará esto. Aquí
Will,
habría un
yeah.
intercambio, o sea, una mezcla de
verbos.
tiempos. Po.
En
Entonces,
la
¿lo podemos
primera
dejar igual?
condicional. Esa está bien.
Ese, así era.
If we see, we will be shocked, or the scene will shock. Ahí está bien. It's the first one.
Yeah.
All right, girls, wonderful. You have to keep on rewriting, but very good. You got the idea. The other group would like to share. So then I explain the rest of the task. Okay, Vanessa, thank you.
We thought that was individual. So we individual.
Okay. It doesn't matter. I am just giving you feedback, yes, so that you then can rewrite. Remember, this part of the semester will be a lot of rewriting, So you write, you give feedback, I give feedback, you rewrite. Okay, share one option, one example, so we can give feedback, and then you can continue with your rewriting. Yes, Vanessa, can you share an example? Or anyone would like to share an example? It's for us to have to see the sentences and the verb tenses, for example. Yes. Okay, Vanessa, we listen to you. To start.
Okay. To start, in a democratic country as Chile is, we have the constitutional right to express ourselves and our opinions. But we also think that normal things are both raise our voice, say what we want to say, and also the freedom is normal. Related with the leaders of the country, we don't use anything like she does. We just call it president or just by the name of the person. However, we as a democratic country, we have the justice system for people who break the laws and they got into prison. To conclude, my life
when I was
17 years old was pretty easy compared with her life in the country. Me as a teenager in a democratic country make everything easy and we can develop ourselves as citizens.
Okay, so some things to pay attention. Me is never a subject. So we have, so as a teenager, that's the beginning of your sentence. As a teenager, good, the sentences are okay, wonderful. So they have to be short, yes, and not very long. As a teenager in a democratic country, comma, and then I need a subject. As a teenager in a democratic country, my life was easy. Something like that is what you want to say, Vanessa? My life was easy and we can develop ourselves as citizens. And the rest is not. My life was easy. Yes, much better. All right. Then, okay. Yes, there will be more to, but just for you to have an idea, yes, that I need a subject, but I can start with as a teenager in a democratic country, my life was easy. Yes, exactly. All right. Then in a democratic We have a constitutional right to express ourselves and our opinions. But we also think that normal things are to vote,
Eso era.
raise our voice, say what we want to say, and I would say live in freedom. And there is enough. And live in freedom. And there you are using the coordinating, no, but this is not a coordinating conjunction in this case, but you have a long sentence, but normal, no, it's normal, no, that's not another sentence. It's the end of that enumeration. All right, so in order for you to write this, then you need to write sentences with a subject, a verb, and an object, minimum. Yes, and as we said before, if we say to conclude, we start a new sentence. In conclusion, in addition. So they help us start a new sentence. But, yes, the coordinating conjunction but can join two sentences in one. So you can have a longer sentence, two independent clauses. Yes, so for you to bear in mind when you're writing. Excellent. Thank you, Vanessa. We will have more options to give you feedback. Okay, so I need to give you personalized feedback, as you see. So you're getting the idea. So now you're giving constraints. Yes, so we will be writing with limits. It's not just free writing. I write for 10 minutes without a full stop. No, I cannot do that. Yes. So always think you have a limit to write and expressions or conjunctions or discourse markers to give meaning to your discourse. All right, then the next is a reading. You will have time to do it. We can check on Monday as well. It's another website, yes, and there are different descriptions. And it's about the future of democracy in times of technological revolution. They are brief descriptions of different, said by different people, talking about democracy and the influence of technology. So you need to choose one, you're free, so you will browse the website, yes, skim. Skim is just to read very quickly. Remember, it's one of the reading a reading strategy you can use to see how much is it that you have to read, what is it about, and that will make your choice easier. Yes, so you choose one description and analyze it. Okay, so this is the website, Pew Research Center. Broader thoughts from key experts on the future of democracy at the time of digital disruption. And for example, you have short paragraphs, some are shorter than others, of people talking about democracy and technology. So here you have a longer one, but they speak about different topics. Our use of technology disconnects us from the local realities in which we live, for example, and Douglas Rushkoff talks about that. So it's not very long. There will be a lot of noise from politicians, not many solutions. And here you have another opinion, and so on and so forth. So you have some longer, some shorter. You are free to choose. So skim quickly. What is the topic that I like the best? So here we talk about tyranny. Yes, it's government that is despotic and violent. Okay, so you know the words, many of the words you already know, yes? Manipulation, for example. Propaganda, there was propaganda around here. So you will know the vocabulary and it will be easier for you to analyze, yes, and understand. So choose one. If you can have something, or we can have more time on Monday, so you can comment on your choice. Yes, propaganda, for example, yes. Remember, it's political how can we say, it's a political production of or broadcasting, ¿sí? La publicación. Propaganda is the political broadcasting of special ideas, ideas on one side of, on different sides according to political countries, political parties, sorry. Okay, so, and you have lots to choose from, as I said, shorter, longer, more interesting, less interesting. So you're free to choose. That's the idea. And then that's where you're going to get ideas about the future of democracy. Okay, coming back to write again a short paragraph to which I am going to give feedback. Yes. So after you reread the description chosen and reflect to write your own paragraph. Yes, if you choose about, I don't know, we said about technology and the impact on democracy, for example, you are going to write your own paragraph. Yes, but also following a certain specific instructions. Okay. You're going to write again 6 complete sentences separated by full stops. Yes. For example, democracy is the best political system that values participation and freedom for everyone. Okay. So that is a complete sentence. We have subject, verb, and everything we say about democracy, and also a relative clause, a relative pronoun, very, very complete sentence. Then you're going to write 3 sentences applying the passive voice. Remember, we saw the passive voice last unit. So for example, technology is defended by modern governments. So remember, this is the first, this is the passive voice in the present simple, is defended, is used, or was. Also the past tense, passive voice, you already know the format, yes, the structure. Then you're going to use 3 sentences in the future tense. Technology will improve democratic participation in the future. Yes, for example, think when we can vote by means of WhatsApp. Wonderful. Yes, I can be anywhere in the world and still vote in my country. That would be great. So 3 sentences applying the future tense. For example, if I want to vote, we have to vote on the 14th of November for legislative elections in Argentina. But I cannot vote. I have to go to Santiago, enroll myself, travel to the embassy. It's a complex situation, but I could just vote by sending my vote via WhatsApp. Yes. So I am Argentinian. I have my papers, my document number, my identity, and my identification, and I could send my vote to Argentina directly. So imagine, that would be much more practical. Okay, hopefully that will be a development to reinforce democracy. Okay. And finally, 5 discourse markers and coordinating conjunctions will be present in your sentences. Yes. For example, in addition, society will have a more active participation thanks to technology. Yes, I think so. I really think that is that can be a real possibility. Yes. So by having more access through technology, we could participate more. Yes, definitely. All right. Do you understand the task? ¿Sí? ¿Entendemos la tarea? Do you all understand the task? Girls? No las escucho. Yes, Catalina says yes, you understand the task. So that is the final exercise. Yes, not a very long task for next week. Yes, if on Monday you have something, we will just revise vocabulary and everything we saw to this morning, then you might have some time to finish. Yes, but remember this task will be uploaded in the task that I will create today, task week 11. And I will give you personalized feedback. Personalized feedback. So we can just revise on Monday. We can show everyone again the exercise, but you need to write your own paragraphs. So this is personalized, yes? And we will start from 0 with writing, the writing process on Monday. So I need you connected, working, ready to work, ready to write. And it is a much more, it takes much more attention and hard work, because sitting to write implies time and organization and more dedication, but we will get it right. So it's good that you're given the instructions, so you follow instructions and you know you have to write sentences that are short, that do not take 5-6 lines, because that's not a good sentence in any way, in any case. Okay, so time for reflection. Oh, we never have time for reflection lately. So what do you reflect? What have we learned today? One thing at the least, and a question that you might have. Anyone would like to write in the chat? Anything you would like to reflect? What did we learn today? What did we revise today? About new vocabulary, life in another country.
Yes, new vocabulary.
Yes, I mean, words like defector. Yes.
Dictatorship.
About dictatorship, yes. Yes. And life in another country. We learned about dictatorship, yes, dictatorship and related vocabulary. Defector, yes, related vocabulary. That's a word that I also learned myself. It's como the difficult life in North Korea, yes. The use of future, yes. So the future for us has to be more hopeful. A related vocabulary, and I also, a defector should be like, I was trying to think of a word in Spanish, but it's like a political, a person that abandons a country because of political reasons. Yes, so it's como un refugiado político, but that would be a political refugee, but defector was a new word for me as well. We learned about dictator, como un desertor. That could be the word of defectors. Uno deserta de su país, del régimen, de político de su país, something like that. So we learned about dictatorship and related vocabulary, the use of future, the use of future and the hard life in North Korea. Yes. The future tense and the hard life in North Korea. Yes, there are many videos on the internet you can watch about the life in North Korea and the political regime there. Agreements. So I think that, yes, you have to concentrate on this one, but moreover, the most important thing, yes, 8th of November. The most important, is that you concentrate on finish all of your participation in Unit 3. Yes, so if you have time over the weekend, try to finish with your participation in online activities in Unit 3. And that includes task 7 and several other short practices with verb tenses and work online. Yes. Unit 3 is Tile 3, Unit 3, the evolution of democracy. That's Unit 3 name. Unit 3 is here, the evolution of democracy. That's the name of the unit. So please, you have there all of the activities that you need to accomplish. Yes, so please try to finish all of them. Yes, so we finished the unit. Try to have at least one writing piece of task 8 ready for discussion. Uno de los dos escritos o el del the comparison, yes, one of the two written pieces ready. One is the comparison with his own life, and the other one is your opinion about the future of democracy and the use of technology. Yes, one of them, one of both. Yes. Try to have at least one writing piece of task 8 ready for class discussion. So we also have an example and we can discuss and give feedback. The task 8 will be uploaded individually. Yes, so it's one each person so that I can see and I can give you feedback on the writing. Task 8 will be uploaded individually. For a task created on Educandos week 11. Educandos in week 11. Workshop 11. Today. Workshop 11. All right. So do you have any questions? So take advantage to finish everything in the unit. Yes, and on Monday, Wednesday, we will be progressing with the new writings and finishing task 8. Okay. If you don't have questions, we are ready, girls. I have to ask one question. Oh, Romina, will you be able to do the interview for the second semester today? Tell me if you have time now or...
Now have class.
Now you have class.
Yes.
So what time do you finish?
A las 1 terminamos.
A la 1. All right. Okay. So can you send me a message whenever you could do it? If you could do it at 1:30 or at 2. It's just a half an hour.
Pero cuando a la 1 usted puede. Yo sí.
Yes, at 1. Yes, I can.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, perfect then. So
Okay.
I will see you girls. See you on Monday.